Miss V. Well, it's 8 p.m. and good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to connect once more. Last week was an interesting session entitled Read to Success. Session, V, you're making me smile. Session 5, and it was basically about reading and some of the key benefits of reading. So I talked about, when you read, it helps with your mental stimulation. I talked about reading is more like exercise for the mind. Just the way people will go to the gym, work out their abs, their biceps and triceps, and do squats and stuff like that. Um, when you read, you're actually exercising your mind, and what it does is that it allows your mind, or helps you to prevent or delay, certain illnesses such as dementia or Alzheimer's and stuff like that. It also helps in stress reduction, because when you're reading and you're reading books that are of serious interest to you, that you find yourself engrossed in, you realize that you're in a different zone and you kind of like shut out from the entire world, and you have that peace and calm around you, which also allows your vitals, your whole system to kind of like chill out. So it helps with stress reduction. The other key benefit of reading I mentioned was knowledge. For lack of knowledge, my people perish. Um, the more you read, obviously, the more you acquire, knowledge through the things you read. And if anybody people who aspire to John Smith, thank you. Um, People who aspire to, get somewhere in life, you cannot do, with acquiring knowledge, because knowledge is key. And the more knowledge you acquire, there's no end to knowledge acquisition. But the more knowledge you acquire, it also helps with imagination. And imagination is what is paramount, because when you have the ability to imagine, that is when you're able to invent, you're able to create, that's when you're able to solve problems and stuff like that. So you want to cultivate a habit of constantly acquiring knowledge. That also aids or accelerates, your imaginative abilities. So it's something that I personally like and love doing. I like acquiring knowledge and dreaming and thinking about things that sometimes people think are outlandish or crazy. When you look at what Elon Musk and co are doing, people sometimes cannot even understand what it is or they're doing. But it's primarily because they started reading very, very long. They're quite a lot of knowledge, and now they are imagining things that most people cannot even comprehend. And the more you read, also your vocabulary expands, meaning that you have words, and you have better ways of expressing yourself. As we all know, communication is key. It's not about using big English, but it's about communicating effectively and being able to use appropriate words and terminologies and phrases and idioms and stuff like that. Also lends to you being able to communicate in ways that people can actually get your message. It's not about people hearing what you say. It's about people listening, understanding what you're saying, and also being able to work with what they've heard, so that even though they've heard you, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, after, they should still remember some of the things you've talked about. You want to be able to leave them with something, yeah? So it helps with that as well. Memory improvement, more you read, obviously, it helps with your memory improvement. It helps with your analytical thinking skills, which is very, very crucial. Whether you're a parent, you're a pastor, you're a teacher, you're a business person, whatever it is, you'll find yourself in certain situations where you have to apply, analytical thinking skills. And the more you read, the more angles, the more dimensions you gather from your readings, you're better positioned, right? As I've always said, the more you read, sometimes you forget even some of the things you read, but there's somewhere in your subconscious, and some of those lessons you subconsciously find yourself using them, and you don't really know why and how. And I've had those moments where sometimes I'm like, damn, did I just come up with that? And when I pause, or I stop to reflect or think about it, I'm amazed, because I'm like, how did I just do that? And when I look back, it's something probably I read from somewhere, and when I try to figure it out, it just takes me, back a few number of years, and I'm able to pinpoint exactly what book I read, or what article I read, or where I kind of got that insight from. More like a eureka moment, right? Improve focus and concentration. If you really have big dreams and ambitions, you want to stay super focused. You want to stay tuned in. You don't want to drop the ball. And what reading does for you, especially when you're reading things in line with your goals and ambitions, what it does for you is that keeps you focused, keeps you very, very focused. And if you stop reading, you realize you're beginning to lose focus. So it's another way to stay focused on your agenda and whatever dreams you have. Also helps your writing skills. It's also part of communication skills. You want to be a good, effective, communicator. And there are times when you don't have the opportunity to speak. You have to communicate through writing, and you want to be able to write in ways that people can actually get your message, and not only get it, but act upon whatever you have, whatever message you're getting across. So that's another super big plus. When you get to read, it helps with your writing skills. Tranquility, inner peace. This is one of my favorites. I always wish everybody around me will have that tranquility, will have that inner peace, whereby they're able to live their lives on their own terms. And when you're reading, you find yourself in that zone where, it's like nothing else matters, right? And you just sail away, And when you do that, you find yourself in some la la land, and it's like you're in paradise, especially if you're reading a good book, a book that really connects with you. And all of this helps with your stress level. It helps with your inner peace. It helps with your focus. It helps with your your drive and more. So you want to always have a way of having that inner peace around you. If you can have it all the time, the better. If not, try to have it as much as you can, because when you have inner peace, you are able to do a lot of serious stuff. When you have inner peace, you are able to stay calm and use your head when you have to make certain decisions. You don't have to rush and make decisions based on emotions, right? So that's a summary of session 5. Read to success. So if you're watching, I implore you, please read. At least read 10-15 minutes in a day. Yeah, read 10-15 minutes in a day. If you can do 30 minutes in a day, please just read. And the more you read, the more you're going to realize how powerful you become. You're going to feel very confident. You're going to feel like a superhero. You're going to feel like a superhuman being the more you read. Yeah? Trust me. It really, really works. Today's is entitled Power of Focus. And people who know me very well, very closely or intimately, know that one of my favorite words are focus. And my good friend and partner, Logos Kojo Mensa Sosu, anytime we get talking and an issue comes up or whatever it is, I always say, Charlie, focus, man. This one not in here. This is irrelevant. Drop it, focus. And the interesting thing is that there are times when I also need him to listen to me about something. The moment I start, he'll say, Michael, focus, and we laugh, And the reason I use the word focus is, look, if it's not part of your agenda, don't worry about it, don't sweat it, drop it, yeah? So how do we focus on the things that matter to us? How do we focus to deliver on and pursue the dreams and ambitions that we have? Okay, so I'm going to share some points with you guys on how to focus. So the first thing to really do is you have to focus on yourself. Okay, so you have your goals, ambitions, and dreams and stuff like that. But you have to first focus on yourself before you move to focusing on those dreams. So by focusing on yourself, you want to make sure you're fit and you're healthy. Okay, because you can't pursue big, serious dreams when you are unwell, you're all not together, and you're messed up. You can't. You're not going to have the sanity to do that. So the first thing you want to do is focus on yourself. Make sure you're sleeping well, you're hydrating enough. That means you're drinking enough good water. You're exercising enough. You're meditating enough. You're having enough quiet time. You want to make sure that 360. As much as you can, you want to make sure you're healthy, you're fit, okay? Once you are able to take care of that, that's not something you do overnight. It's something that you do consistently, okay? So if every day you want to make sure you drink 8 bottles or 8 glasses of water, you drink it. If you have to walk 10,000 steps a day, you do it, right? So you want to make sure you have that habit. By the moment you start doing those things, it's positioning you to be in that state of mind and state of body in such a way that you're able to pursue your dreams and ambitions, and especially if you have a dream and ambition that is humongous, is big, which takes time. And I'm not talking about a goal ambition that requires 24 hours. I'm talking about something that takes years. So it means that you have to really be consistent and focused for all of these days and months and years to be able to get to, the promised land, wherever you want to get to. So the first fundamental thing is make sure you focus on yourself, which basically is about your fitness and then, your mental health and then your general health all together. I'm not going to talk about money because if you have money, the better, your financial health, yeah? So that's the first thing. Now, how do you stay focused when you have big dreams and you have all of these challenges and distractions around you, yeah? Keep thinking about the big picture, the big picture. So in our case, we talk about, NOXI, we talk about increasing the health span of people, 1 billion people in the next 20 years. That is the big picture. So from where I sit, every day I go to bed, I wake, I am thinking about how do we impact the lives of 1 billion people, okay? So as I think about it consistently, I'm focused on it because all the things I do, I'm looking at, how do we achieve that? So always think about the big picture, not the little things, because the little things, you think about them, they may not inspire you enough, but when you think about the big picture, it keeps you focused, and it really, really works. Then get into the daily routine as well, habits. And this is what I found out the hard way, because when I look back at some of the things that I've succeeded at and the things I've not really succeeded at, the things I succeeded at, I did because I was consistent with whatever I was pursuing. So when I look at, even when I had to take my O levels again, for a whole year, I stopped chilling and I focused on just studying, studying. And I did it consistently for a year. What was the end result? I got distinction and I did well, yeah? So when I look at it, the fact that I cultivated the habit of ensuring that, I'll go to class, I was not dodging cutting classes, and I was studying, I was doing my homework, I created a habit through that process. And the end result was what? Me, passing. But when I look at other situations or circumstances where I didn't do what I could have done, it's because I wasn't consistent and I didn't have the routines. So as people, we all come up with dreams and aspirations and plans and goals and stuff like that. But what we largely lack are the routines and the habits. So you want to find ways of cultivating habits. So you want to start with one habit at a time, if possible, yeah? So if it's about reading, say, hey, I'm going to read 10 pages a day, okay? So every day, ensure that you read 10 pages a day, and habits takes about 66 days, averagely to form, yeah? It depends on what statistics you're looking at. But the more you do it, the more it becomes a habit and it becomes part and parcel of you, and you don't really have to put in much energy to do what? To do those things, because they become part and parcel of you and you do them subconsciously, okay? So you want to create all of these habits that fuel and also support whatever agenda, ambitions you have, okay? So that's your routine, okay? That's your routine. So when it comes to NOXI, what I do is, I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is I check on all developers, I get updates, what's going on, I talk to partners, what's going on, where I need to, exercise, I go for my walk, an hour and a half, I get in my 10,000 steps, Before that, I drink my water because it's part of my routines and habits that I have identified, right? So you want to make sure that you have these habits that you have actually identified and you're consistently pursuing them. Okay, so you don't do them half. Don't do them start and stop. Yes, there are times when, Charlie, you're just feeling blue and or something has just gotten you, whether it's emotionally or it's financially or whatever it is, or maybe you're just not in it and then you slack. But anytime you slack, think about the big picture and jump back in. So it's okay to slack sometimes, but don't slack for too long. Don't slack for too long, because at the end of the day, it's consistency that is what is going to help you succeed. Okay, it's consistency. And I can say that boldly because I've realized that, anytime we are consistent, we get the desired results that we've always wanted. So I always employ everybody, let's keep going, okay? So that's your routine and habits. Then self-imposed deadlines, restrictions, and incentives. So take, for example, the Tuesdays to Mental Catalyst. Sometimes I regret even starting this. Sometimes I honestly regret starting this, because every Tuesday I have to come and do it. Whether I have only one person watching or I have 100 people watching, I still have to do it. Okay? But here's the thing. I have self-imposed this on myself that every Tuesday I'm going to share my lessons, my experiences, and what we are doing with people so that people can also tap into whatever lessons there are, whatever wisdom they can tap, so that they can use it to improve and advance themselves. So even though I dread it sometimes, I don't find joy in it sometimes, the fact that I have self-imposed it on me and I've also made it a habit, I find myself just doing it without putting in much effort. Okay? So the way you stay focused is, look, you want to put things out there and live by it. So during this video, I know tomorrow morning Tim is going to watch, when he wakes up, and he's going to hit me back with certain questions. Yeah. So now this has become a routine between him and I. Every Tuesday that I do it, I have to prepare to answer to Tim in terms of, whatever discovery he makes or whatever points or whatever clarification he needs from my submissions, right? But the beautiful part about it is we are having very productive, constructive conversations. You get what I'm talking about? Yes. So self-imposed deadlines for yourself. Sometimes we have goals and ambitions and then we hide them. People don't know about it. But when people, I'm not saying go and tell the whole world everything that you plan to do or you're doing, but you need to put something out there in a way that people hold you to it. People hold you to it. So when you are there, you know that, oh, Charlie, this guy is expecting this from me. I can't disappoint. I have to do it. So I know that every Tuesday, very special people who I matter to, who care about what I do, who have decided to like me for who I am, and all of that, still come every Tuesday to watch, to support me. And these are my super fans, and they mean the world to me, right? So by imposing this on myself, it's helping me improve in many ways. At the same time, too, it's also helping those who come to watch, okay? And then also restrictions. There are certain things you just don't want to do, okay? There are certain things you just want to do. So when you have your big goal, you need to know the things that the do's and the don'ts. The things that you know you don't have to do, just don't do it. Try and find ways of not doing it, okay? And then lastly, also incentives. If I said to myself, hey, every time I do Tuesdays with mental catalyst and I'm done with it, I'm going to reward myself with A, then what I need to do is to make sure that when I'm done with it, I reward myself with A. Okay? So you want to have these things around you in such a way that it helps you keep focused on your agenda and then all your goals and ambitions. Always plan what's important first. Okay? So you always want to tackle the big challenges. So you take your day. What is the most important thing? What is the biggest task you have? What is the most difficult task you have? Go after that quickly and knock it out. Don't delay it. Focus on it and knock it out. Now, when you have that mental attitude, all you're going to realize is that you're now going to be overcoming a lot of what? Roadblocks, bottlenecks, challenges. But what you're doing is you're inviting them and you are fighting them and you're overcoming. And anytime you overcome something, you become stronger and wiser. Stronger and wiser. So the pace or the speed at which you start succeeding also starts accelerating and increasing. So in your day, knowing what your goals are, what your ambitions are, look for what you ought to do in that day. Look for the biggest, the most important, the most challenging thing and get that done quickly. Don't defer it. Okay? It also depends on what it is anyway, because there are certain things that is best to tackle in the afternoon, there are certain things best to tackle in the evening, there are certain things is best to tackle in the morning. But whatever it is, make sure that you get it done. Stay focused. And learn to use the word no. And here's the thing. By virtue of our culture, it's difficult for us to a lot of times say no. Okay? But when you are focused, you have an agenda, you have a mission, you can't say yes to everything. So what I do personally is, because I know where I want to go and I know how I have to get there are a lot of things that come my way and I know that, look, this is not part of the agenda. So I say no to it. So yes, I'm not a soccer fan. Okay, so if England and Italy are playing, and somebody comes and tells Mike, let's go and watch England, whatever, at the pub. It's not part of my agenda. First of all, I'm not interested in soccer. I wouldn't mind knowing who won and who scored the goal. I'll watch the highlights later. But it's not a passion for me. Yeah, that time I'll prefer to use it to either read or do some tests on the platform, or engage a partner somewhere. So always know when to say no. And you can only know when to say no when you know what your goals and ambitions and targets are. So make sure that, look, that is clear, so that you know that, look, anything you participate in is part of your agenda, so you can stay focused on it. Okay? And it's okay to say no to people. If you need to say no to me, say no to me. It's fine. And if I don't understand, you ask each other, why are you saying no? And yes, if you think you have to explain, you explain. If not, we move on. Yeah. So let's learn to say no, because when we don't know how to say no, that also pulls us back. Shout out to you, Prosper. Okay. And then also remember why you started. So anytime that I have my drag, when I have to do Tuesdays with the mental catalyst, I ask myself, why did I get started? Why did I get started? And the moment I recollect why I got started, I'm like, okay, get it done and move on. Look, this past week has been hectic. Yeah, I had some legacy issues coming at me, hitting me very, very hard, and I've been very blue. Yeah, and I just wanted to just kind of like give up. Yeah, but then I remembered, why did I start A Billion Healthy Lives? And the moment I recollected why, then I was like, you know what, no, I can't quit, I can't stop, and I gotta keep going. So always find a way of recollecting why you started something. Okay, and that helps you also to stay focused on whatever you're doing. And then run from something. Okay, always look at some of your darkest moments. So if you have been super broke before, you have been homeless, you have been hospitalized, some whatever, a terrible situation that you never want to go back to, always have that at the back of your mind and use that to propel you and let that help you stay focused. Okay, so having been, if you've been financially challenged, you don't want to be financially challenged again. So you want to what? Run away from that as much as you can. So you focus on your goals and ambitions of being successful. Yeah. So always have in mind that, I've been in these dark places. I don't want to be there anymore. I don't want to ever visit it again. And let that help you stay focused on whatever goals and ambitions you have. And then stop reaching out for crumbs. Yeah, go for the cake. Why go for crumbs? After people have had the best part of the cake and then it's left with some pieces and you want that. No, you don't deserve that. Always go for the main cake. And to go for the main cake, you ought to stay on what? On course. You have to focus on your agenda. You have to focus on your goals and ambitions. Yeah. Always go for the caviar. Always go for that number one prize. Yeah. Don't sell yourself short. So when you have all of this mentality, this attitude, yeah, all of that helps you stay focused on your ambitions and your goals. These are the things I'm sharing with you are things that we all kind of know, but we are not consistent about them. So if it's at work, you realize that, Charlie, sometimes you get good reviews, and next time your reviews are some way and things like that. No, but there are always ways to be consistent and constantly improving and increasing, your self-worth and all of that. So one, I talked about the reading. Don't take it for granted. Don't take it for granted. Read. Now, when you're done reading, or if you're done reading, now find time to now say, what am I going to do today, and stay focused. Now, these little tools and things I'm sharing with you are the things that I'm using to help us push, Noxie forward. Is it easy? It's not easy at all. It's not easy at all. But what I've learned is when we find ways of being consistent, we succeed. And one of the hard lessons I've learned is for those who are in love and stuff like that, when you're consistent with how you express your love, it goes a long way. But today you're warm, tomorrow you're cold. It's not a good balance. And for me personally, I'm learning how to also be consistent when it comes to being emotional, sometimes. So pardon me whilst I fall short in that department. Yeah. So my brothers and sisters, so on the Noxie front, we are still integrating Fitbit. We are integrating Apple Watch as well. It's going very well. We are hoping to have that ready by the end of July. And things are going according to plan. I'm looking forward to the next few months, and I'm sure we'll all be having a lot of fun very soon. I have some other things I want to share, but I won't share them now. I think I will do that a little bit later. But thank you all so much for another Tuesday. Whatever you're doing, please give it your best, give it your all. Stay focused. Don't forget to read, but most importantly, don't trade your inner peace. It's priceless. So until we meet again, love you guys and take care. Good night.